PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. This is a state that the central nervous system uses in order to cope with profound trauma. Now, trauma are experiences that have pushed me out of my natural integrity, comfort zone, and that have represented a threat to my life, mentally, emotionally, or physically. When recurrent trauma occurs in our lives, we learn since very early stages at our childhood to become alert and defensive towards our environment. So, for example, if I was a child in a home where there was a lot of aggression, maybe nobody hit me, but there were a lot of discussions, screams, violent talking. That is emotional trauma. And that as well breaks down my integrity, my being, and puts me in a space of I am in danger. I need to make something in order to survive. We are animals. Our brain is a machine that works perfectly well in order to aid us to survive difficult or adverse situations. Now, we're a very complex animal because we have an emotional body, we have an intellectual body, and a physical body. And in there is the self, the spirit at the center of it all. So when I am in an environment that is dangerous for my stability, my central nervous system activates the amygdala and the fight or flight response. And then I learn to live from this response. And that becomes my personality, which is false. It is not real, but it is a mechanism of defense or a mechanism of assistance that I find in order to survive. So, for example, I am a child that grows in an environment that is not healthy or safe, which for a lot of us that is the case, and not necessarily big abuse occurred. Like maybe I don't have a recollection of sexual abuse or physical abuse or having been abandoned. Maybe I identify my biography as it being maybe flat. But when we start looking into it, a lot of things that we have normalized as a society are not normal for a human being to grow up in a healthy space. So we have different traumas that go from omission to commission. Omission is there was nobody there for me. Maybe there was food at the table, but there was never a parent that was hugging me or asking, how are you? What do you need? Maybe the parent was just coming in and imposing orders or restrictions. And that was my relationship to the authority. Well, that creates a trauma of omission, which is very hard to identify because that little child learns to be evasive in their attachment, and therefore in life goes around from being a very selfish person, maybe, or a very detached person, but up to a way or a manner that is not healthy for his or her relationships, because maybe commitment becomes trouble. and they cannot commit to anyone or to anything because they have this evasive way of attachment, because they were never looked at, they were never asked, what do you need? Are you okay? And a lot of us grow up like that. Now there's trauma of commission, where I was screamed at, I was beaten, there was something done upon me. And then there is the scar of that trauma, the fear of that trauma. So in any case, all these situations, the big trouble we're facing nowadays is that we have normalized them as, oh, this is society and this is the way life goes in every home. But that doesn't mean that's natural and that is healthy for a human being. So a lot of youngsters and adults live permanently from a fight or flight response and suffer from profound anxiety. Maybe they constantly somatize states of problems in their digestion, in their health, maybe respiratory problems constantly. Maybe they cannot sleep at night. This is extremely common because if I am in alert, if I am in a mode mechanically in my brain that says you are in danger, there is no way I'll be able to let go at night and have a full night's sleep as a kid or as an adult. So, what are the alerts for you to identify that you're living from a post traumatic stress state that now you have identified and normalized in your personality? Well, you're a person that cannot silence. You're a person that cannot stop doing. Maybe you're a person that cannot quiet down your mind. The processes of um, intellectualizing, rationalizing, catastrophic thinking, they are symptoms of post-traumatic stress disorder. Evidently, anxiety in the body. And all these leading to states of profound tiredness, not having energy, that can tie down to profound depression or the sense of loss of purpose or meaning. So this state creates biologically in the body a very destructive rhythm that starts depleting the brain and the body from nutrients, the nutrients we need. We don't assimilate correctly the neither food, and our brain does not work with the proper components that it needs to work. So we can be depleted of serotonin. We can be living on dopamine highs constantly. So we'll be seeking, if we are a person that needs a stimulant to start up our day, meaning I need something to wake up because I have no energy and I have 1, 2, 3 cups of coffee, or something that pushes me to start my day, or I am a person that needs something to quiet me down. So I need an hour to quiet down beforehand. A substance, I use alcohol, I use cannabis, I use barbiturics, I use tafil, ribotril, anything of the kind to quiet down so I can sleep. Well, then I am a person that is living in post-traumatic stress disorder. And the solution is not the coffee or the happy pill in the morning and the ribotril at night. No, that's not the solution. The solution is to look at what was the trauma that put you in that state, and to understand that these ways of living are defense mechanisms. They are not natural traits of the person or the personality. So saying I am an anxious person or I am a very mental person, that is just minimizing and normalizing a state that is not normal and that leads us into illness, mentally, emotionally, and physically. So this is PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder.